patch that was on?
No, that's not going to be in this one. By the way, for those who are wondering from home, this is basically played on the Nautilus patch. Now, the last patch we had was really light. It was some minor changes to Lux, some minor changes to Ziggs, and of course the addition of our latest champion of the league, Fiora. But otherwise, it's pretty much the exact same as you'll see on live. There's no real major changes. We kind of knew that coming into it. The Blitzcrank pull on the Golem is a very smart choice. That's why they were going in there. And as soon as it's smiteable, they can grab that. But of course, it actually reset. So CLG not in the happiest place despite all that. They managed to make that move. And despite how much we were talking about how they were spending, okay, 5, go, launch the game, let's get there, let's make sure we're okay. And then they missed up the pull. But I think that's still going to be Swain holding it, and they're probably going to be okay.
Yeah, so they will be okay, but Shyvana is going to come around the backside of St. Vicious in a moment. Got to be careful what we say, because obviously I only have around about 20-second delay to the stage, so these guys can hear us, so we have to be very wary of our ward placements, etc., whether we give things away too often. So let's have a look at these lineups. How do we think they're going to go? To start off, top lane, Nidalee versus Swain. I'm not too sure. I think Voyboy may have a slight advantage in that one. You can see he's already pushing Hotshot away from the experience here, trying his best to keep him away from the CS. Let's have a look towards the middle. It's going to be, well, Urgot, it's going to be pretty strong early on, but Skara's not really taking anything for justice. He's just quite happily bullying him away. And down the bottom, this is going to be the lane we're going to have to be so quick to watch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of chances here.
Oh, and Hotshot's already going to back away from that one. So I will dominate coming out there, but immediately backing away. With that red buff, realised the blue buff had been taken away. I didn't see, I think it was Mundo that took the blue buff. Yes, it is. And now he's taking it away as well on this side. I'm guessing Urgot's going to make a move across any second now, but he's having a few problems with Skara in the middle, so he doesn't want to come across. Or whether he's actually just going to take both of them. Yes, he has just taken both of them. So eating up both blue buffs there, St. Vicious.
Yep, and we'll see what they can do with this. Looks like I Will Dominate still just more, creeping around on his side of the jungle, though. Level 3.5 for I Will Dominate for that Shyvana. St. Vicious, 13 minions versus 13s. They're actually equalized, despite, that blue steel and all that. They've been pretty much equaling out. You can see, trying to figure out where the blue buff went because they're both gone. I don't know if Moona just grabbed them both for himself, but yeah, the golem buffs are both gone. I think Moona just kind of doubled up there. So he's been doing a good job there. Shyvana still wearing red, and Moona not getting his own red, so I feel like St. Vicious now kind of winning the jungle battle in that he's getting himself, yeah, there we go, first level 4. I think he's kind of beating that one. So yeah, doing a great job so far, and that's all kinds of glorious.
All kinds of glorious, and Amakitipa has been forcing them back on the tower. This is kind of what you expect. The early levels down the bottom lane, they're going to have that little bit of pressure on them early on. He's trying to use that range advantage that he's got. I'm seeing Mundo setting up at the moment. You can see Mordekaiser just prepping himself. Skara's the thing with and there's no one weak in the early levels at all either for CLG, so they've got a very strong early game team here. Now Nidalee has just been back to buy.
Let's take some pressure on a Skara in the mid real quick. Or am I ahead of you, actually? Oh, I'm slightly ahead of you on the broadcast. This is going to be interesting.
Okay, that's no problem. But he walked away from that one, no problem. But Exhaust was used up there as well as the slow, but he did burn the flash out, I believe, to get away from that one. So flash burned out. We'll keep an eye on that one down there. Meanwhile, down the bottom, we can see a little bit of pushing it, prodding. So Double Lift trying his best to force Amakitipa away, but he's playing it wise, exactly like you need to do with the Blitzcrank, just sticking in amongst the minions.
Yeah, and look at the minions, though. It's actually not too great. It's like 25 minions for bot lane, but but for Corki, it's a lot better off. He's winning by about 10 minions or so.
Top lane. Just keep an eye on the top lane. I Will Dominate coming around the backside of Hotshot again. Hotshot managing to land his stun on him, and we'll just back away from that one. Took half health, though, and that was really a case of
coming by now, this time
being
in mid.
aware.
Sorry about that, but Skara is actually getting jumped on right now in mid, and that's not looking good for him. And I'm unfortunately ahead of you, but there's first blood picked up. And nice job there.
Yeah, so it's about a 3-second gap for some reason there, but I Will Dominate is going to come back and cover off, so that tower won't get pushed, but that's going to give Mundo the chance to actually try and invade as much as possible. It's not going to happen though for him, so he's going to back away. Let's have a look to see what they buy. So first blood goes down. I didn't miss it, it's all good.
Nice job, nice job. Well, I get to cheat for you now. It's like there's a fight in mid. Yes, there is actually. Mundo's coming in.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
We have this covered. So let's have a look at what they're buying. There's a lot of pink wards coming out here. This is something that sort of developed from World Cyber Games, I believe it was. You know, we saw the pink wards being used a lot more heavily, certainly by the XGBT team, which are obviously not in attendance this one, but they really used the pink wards quite dramatically, and I think a lot of teams picked up on it. You know, like they were saying, actually their ward placement is really very good, and they actually time it so they can see that the support goes, places it, goes straight away, place that pink ward on, saving yourself basically buying an Oracles.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. We'll see. Looks like, yeah, Blitzcrank coming back down. Of course, they have pinged him, so they know that Doublelift is on the way. But the minion kills are just... Actually, they're letting Alistair get most of the farm, interestingly. Chowster's getting most of the gold here in this bottom lane. But, of course, Corki just dominating everyone in gold income. And you can see that despite the first blood in CLG's favor, only 200 gold separate these two teams.
And there we go. Corki just going back. He's just got himself a triple Doran's blade. So going pretty standard for Corki now. Just keeping my eye on exactly what everyone's buying. Of course, you can see them. This is the new thing that came in the spectator mode. You'll see them bubbling up in the bottom here as they get bought out. Obviously, you don't have the current spec mode, which is you have a nice little text message as well. I'm really loving it.
Yeah,
so
for the big ones.
It's just amazing how much this has developed since a year since last CeBIT.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And a couple of fun things going on here. Cutie Pie, by the way, actually seems to always go triple Dorans. You called that one out, and he's been doing that pretty much every game forever. He just keeps going triple Dorans all day, every day, and it kind of crushes pretty hard. So, he's going to try to keep winning lane that way, and the extra 300 health is going to help him in this lane as well. If he ever gets pulled, it'll be better for him to survive.
Not too sure why I'm trying to point anything out to you. You are ahead of me. You're like, yeah, this is already gone by.
No, he's safe. Don't worry.
Yeah, no,
we're okay.
He's safe. Just carry on. Yeah, okay. Just look across now.
But Voyboy been given the blue buff now this time, so finally Shyvana caught up with he's going to jump in onto Swain, actually. Some good damage, but actually looks like Hotshot won that fight. Got him down to about half health. And, Voyboy's going to keep healing up, though, and try to come back and survive.
Yeah, you can see the bottom lane, like you said, you mentioned, it's actually the gold going towards Alistair, so going to be interesting to see how he's going to spec that. You can see he's already got the Sheen out there, so he's going to want that extra bit of damage he's going to get once they manage to get that combo, but still yet to get that combo, playing it very, very safe down the bottom here, Dignitas, and wisely you can see just sticking in amongst that pack. They do not want to go towards that bush, which is what they were doing. Yeah, wisely back away, actually trying to be very aggressive there. Overdrive used by Doublelift to escape that. I thought he was going to get caught out. We're also seeing Scoura going for a invade here on the Wraiths.
When he tried to pick up the race, and of course they all got left with 1 health, and Big Fat found that out. And you can see the amount of pressure there available by Urgot is pretty good. You see he dropped down below half health and could not quite finish up those wraiths either, which is a little bit unfortunate for Scoura.
Meanwhile, down the bottom there, you can see IEM did, I think, get hooked in there, because his hit point's definitely gone down. Chowster's trying his best to get in on them. At the moment, the junglers have not made that much of an impression on the game. Certainly as Shyvana is, and this is like you said, they are very fast junglers, but you know they're not ones to come out and make some crazy ganks.
Gosh, so much pressure at the top lane. Voyboy just came in there and jumped down into Hotshot GG pretty hard, down to half health already. And Voyboy, of course, with that self-heal, constantly doing a great job. Hotshot having to chug mana potions and using that ultimate form just to get some health back whenever he can. You can see Mundo actually making his way towards the top as well. St. Vision with an early Oracles as well. He's going to sweep that ward out from Voyboy. Now Voyboy, if he manages to not dodge, never move, is going to be in really bad shape. Normally as Cougar form, he's going to be safe there, but that can always go really bad if Hotshot lands a W.
Yeah, so throwing out those spears with that blue, obviously he can keep churning them out. He's well aware of the fact, but Nidalee is going to be very, very hard to pin down. So like you say, it's like while they're very tanky, if they get caught, they will be in trouble, but they've got a very good escape on all these lanes at the moment. Nidalee is one of those so hard champions to catch. Shyvana making her way down towards the bottom here. You can see Doublelift maybe looking to try and get a grab on Cutie Pie there, and if he does, it will do a lot of damage. Sheen obviously sat really waiting. Can he try and go for it at the moment? We know you're way ahead, and they are going to dive straight in there. That's going to be IEM coming across, and the exhaust being used at the right time. It's Chowster that are actually targeting, which I'm not too sure he's going to use that. Alistair ulti and Doublelift trying to pull them in. That would have been death to anyone
at the top,
tower.
though, Mundo's chasing down on a Voyboy, actually. This is not going to look good for him. There we go, Mundo jumping in, lands that cleaver at the last second. Nice shot there. And now 2-0 on the kill score, and CLG looks like they're going to really want to go in for some kind of pressure. But at the same time, Dignitas countering with the Dragon at the bottom there, so they're going to actually trade that gold. And you know it's going to equalize a little bit here. The Dragon is pretty worthwhile. 17:05 is going to be that Dragon respawn. And actually, no, CLG's not going to go for the turret kill. They're actually going to leave it up there. I guess to I don't know, keep that lane pushed up as much as possible. But they could have gone for some more pressure there if they wanted to.
Yeah, so let's have a look across at the gold. You can see the Manamune has just been bought up by Urgot there in the middle. So looks like a BF sword will come out from Corki shortly. He's got 1,600 gold. I'm guessing he's teleporting back. Yes, he is. So that's going to be a BF sword. So building towards a possible Black Cleaver. We talked about this off air, that it's these sort of builds that they go with, and obviously you mentioned the Manimune earlier on. They really pretty much standard builds for across the board. Oh, we're going to counter. No, he's not going to go for it. He's just simply placing a ward. Janna's got to be careful getting caught out by Chowster down the bottom there on Alistair. Do you think this is a lane we're going to see more often down the bottom here?
It's a possibility. It's not really working that well for them, though. They're actually not doing a great job. They are keeping them, you know, from roaming too much. The bot lane's kind of just sitting there for sure. And it does give them this late game sort of, you know, big tank potential that they, you know, you can't really run Blitzcrank or Alistair mid. So if you want some more beef in your lineup, it's a good place to put them. But they're losing the lane in terms of minion kills, I think. It's 83 between Alistair and Blitz. It's 105 for Corki. So gold is going better for Dignitas at the bottom lane. Maybe that's just because Shyvana's showing up more than Mundo is, but either way, bottom lane is right now winning for Dignitas.
So both junglers again continuing around their business. And Justin Corki actually returned to lane. So we're going to see what Corki actually does. He's got that BF sword now, so he's going to want to pressure more. You can see the shield goes on him, so effectively giving him a second BF sword right now at this level. He's probably leveled that one up. So he's going to try to put pressure on them as much as possible. You can see now, has got the grab on towards him. Will get the pulverized down, but immediately the monsoon from Locust set blasts them backwards and saves Amikutipai from any damage at all. So that is the danger of the combo. You can see he actually stripped about half his health off straight away, but that ulti immediately saving the day.
A lot of coordination there. You saw that Blitzcrank pop his ultimate to kill the minions off in order for him to land the pull afterwards. That was a really good combo there from Double Lift. And then Chowster followed up almost right away, was able to interrupt partway through Cutie Pie's Valkyrie back, and also to drop out that Janna ult as well. So they are a very coordinated team, but they don't seem to be winning the lane though. However, that said, Big Fat LP is beating Skara in mid, that Urgot, winning in minions by looks like about 15. And one thing to point out is Skara is actually the current #1 ranked player on North American solo queue ladder. So at least on paper, Skara is like the most individually skilled player in the game, and is in this lane right now to this Urgot player. So I mean, props to Big Fat LP for playing a very good game. Voidboy now jumping up on a hot shot right now, getting him down pretty low, and actually still going for that pressure. By the way, actually being built as AD tanky needily, has a couple of Doran's blades in there, and going for that kind of setup. So we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, meanwhile down the bottom you can see that will dominate sneaking into the bush. Chowster's actually taken pretty low there, so they're going to leap straight in towards it. Will manage to get Chowster down. Can they get the second kill on Double Lift? You can see Imakutapai is tanking up the turret. That will give I Will Dominate plenty of time. Actually got the grab on him, but he will back away from there. And Mundo comes in a little bit too late. And that was a double kill. Nicely done and nicely exercised by Dignitas there. And that was really all started by Imakutapai just hammering away and creating the kill. Meanwhile, I can see Mundo also being pressured by Big Fat LP. They're having a little bit of a run around the bush there, but I don't think Skara is that worried. He's got that shield built up pretty heavily. And this is really the difference. We can see how much damage they can each do, and I think Skara's losing out in this battle. He's going to get ulted straight away. He's going to be able to back away from this one. I don't think he's going to get away. The exhaust goes down. Can they finish him off? Mundo comes in. Surely going to be the finish of Skara. Will go down, and that was a clean kill. So that was really a case of Skara just testing the waters. How strong am I? Oh, not that
strong enough. That Urgot did a lot of damage there. I think one thing that was pretty major is he underestimated that passive is going to reduce all of Mordekaiser's damage by 15%. Whenever Urgot deals damage with his Q or his basic attack, he's going to have that debuff on them, and Mordekaiser needs to deal damage to build shield, and that ult needs to deal damage to leech some health back. And those are things that he's not going to be able to do with that damage debuff. You combine that with the shield that Urgot can keep placing on with the cooldown reduction and the mana regen from blue buff, and it became really difficult there. So Voidboy still just kind of, you know, running back and forth, dealing damage to Hotshot. But this lane is pretty sustaining, actually. You can see 94 minions to 113, so Voidboy is winning in minion kills. And there we go, St. Vicious just kind of camping down by the bottom. I think he should know that Mundo is there. He's got a trap right there. If he walks over it, he's going to walk over that trap. And yeah, he's going to be like, okay, never mind.
You're like predicting the future right now at the moment on the stream, but we knew it was coming. Double Lift trying to sneak around the backside on the top there, and again you can see that top lane just continually being pressed. Voidboy's not taking any abuse off Hotshot. I can see the Will of the Ancients has been completed by Skara in the middle as well, so Sorcerer's Blitz, so he's going to be a little bit more sustainable in that middle. You can see Shyvana also getting around. He's got the Oracle on the I Will Dominate as well now, so keep your eye on that one. And the ward placement is very low at the moment, basically because they both have these oracles and they are just clearing them out every time they get placed down there. Skara backed heavily away from his turret there. I'm just trying to see why. Big Fat LP is certainly out-farming him at the moment in the middle there, which is pretty impressive in itself. 143 to 127 CS. Not a great deal of difference. I'm just keeping my eye on IEM down the bottom here, looking like
147.
Locust is going back, so he's going to be on his own. So we need to keep our eye on this bottom lane. And like you say, 147 to... what are we looking at? Is it Alistair's? They're kind of sort of semi-sharing.
He's got about 40. He's about 40 ahead. They've got 109 at the bottom lane versus 150. So 41 minions right now. The difference, and it's been growing over time pretty steadily.
Yeah, pressure on Voyboy there, and that's going to force Voyboy to go back. So Hotshot just popping his ulti off there and doing a chunk of damage. So let's see what Voyboy goes back and buy. I think he will have a... he's tell a lie. He's trolling me and decides to cancel that and think, you know what, I can eat another wave of minions here. I've got plenty of health.
If Hotshot lands W, he'll drop, so he's got to be very careful about this one. And that was a little bit close. We did get out of the way. I think Voyboy... There, it was really close. See, there we go. Voyboy getting out of the way. And actually, Dignitas immediately getting another dragon for themselves. So they had that timed. Yep, there was that 17-minute and change spawn, and they grabbed that with no pressure whatsoever. Now, CLG are winning in kills, but they're down in gold because of these dragons so far. Although CLG might actually, looks like Hotshot's looking pretty happy for this turret. Voyboy did get rooted, but Hotshot can't dive the turret. That's a hard not to say. I'm sorry.
You really need to be watching the preview monitor.
All right, so I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Meanwhile, down the bottom now, pushing on towards Double Lift. Double Lift taking down very low. The ulti coming out from Corky there, catching him with a big bomb. And Chauster also taking a bit of damage, and they're going to be forced back. Meanwhile, you can see in the middle, actually, that Mordekai's are sort of hitting that critical mass, and he's farming up heavily. He's catching very quickly on Urgot there. Urgot trying his best to just sit it out. They have managed to pop the exhaust down. Mundo's going to go in. The ulti switch coming out from Urgot. Will it be enough? St. Vicious hasn't really... Skara hasn't got any shield. He's trying his best to build that shield up with that lifesteal that he's got, and he's exhausted again. A double exhaust will get the kill. Big Fet OP picking it up. Put his ulti down and St. Vicious really wasn't going to be enough, and I think that might be enough to take that turret down. I can see that I Will Dominate desperately coming across. Voyboy picking up the blue buff, and I think that turret is in peril, and I Will Dominate just about coming in time to save it. Meanwhile, down the bottom, they're also pushing again on that turret, and that turret very low down the bottom as well.
Yeah, that Mundo Urgot lane is actually really... Oh, Cutie Pie just got... is almost about to get caught right there, and there comes a lot of the damage output up underneath that turret, and they're going to see if they can help the team enough. He's going to run down. John's going to ult, but the turret going to do enough damage. Chauster will pick up that kill, and finally, there you can see that lane that they were hoping to get earlier from CLG. Finally starting to work there, that Blitz Alistair lane, and oh my gosh, that Corky not in a happy place that entire time. Really got owned pretty hard there. Now the top lane, you can see Hotshot and Voyboy going at it. Voyboy trying to get away, as Needly very low, does flash that never move. He's going to run away. The dots will time out just barely. Will make his way out of that battle and survive, but that was really close. CLG now up in gold once more. Despite being up 3 kills, that lead is very small. So Dignitas, of course, still very close here, but you're kind of seeing this mid-late game start to work a lot better for CLG.
Yeah, and it got that crowd control when he comes into the team fight as well. I Will Dominate coming into a harassed Chauster. I think he's coming a little bit too early there, showing his hand far too early. Yeah, he's going to try and put as much damage on Chauster, maybe force him back. So looking like a 4-man push possibly on the tower down the bottom here. You can see that that IEM is coming back, has got that Black Cleaver just about completed. So we have a 4-man Dignitas team down the bottom, but they are going to back away from this one. So I don't think they're going to push him for it. And CLG weren't quite sure. You can see the double lift was just like, well, I'm not really sure. Are we going to be able to get an invader? Are they trying to cover off the blue? No, they've just returned to the lane. So trying to confuse them as well as me, frankly. So Shyvana has just gone back. How do you rate these two junglers so far? I mean, they're both very quick farmers. Not really seen too much from the ganks. St. Vicious had the 2 ganks in the middle on Skara. You've had so obviously I Will Dominate down the bottom lane as well. Picked up the 2 kills, but overall it's not the crazy gankiness that we tend to see from the junglers.
Well, these teams are playing pretty safely, of course, and you have seen Mundo come in 2 to 3 times successfully against Skara in mid, and of course, it's just sometimes very timing relevant. Do you have red buff? Is your exhaust up? Is Big Fet LP's ultimate on? How big is Skara's shield? Sometimes those just aren't available there. Top lane, both champions very good at escaping, but actually here is some pressure at the top. Hotshot taking a lot of pressure. They're going to have to try to flash away. Will do that. The exhaust, of course, is on, but they're still chasing that one down. The Needly Spear does land. They've chased in, and there's the damage of Voyboy picks up that kill. Mundo coming by as well, but looks like they're going to be safe this time. Mundo going to be able to just walk back, take the rest of that farm there, and that's a good little comeback gank there from Dignitas.
Yeah, it was a needed one. Meanwhile, down the bottom, I can see they're also pushing on towards Chowster again, forcing him onto that tower. They're trying their best to blast a little bit of damage down on him with that Black Cleaver. If they can keep picking on it, you can see they're actually working Chowster down, slowly building his hit points down. You can see that Black Cleaver in action. And that that heal, of Chowster has actually not really been able to recover much, which is what's been keeping him in it. So you can see he's just burning down that health slowly but surely. He's going to force him back. He's actually dived in, grabbed in there. Will he be able to get straight out of it? Valkyrie's not going to come out. It's not going to give him enough distance. The tower will manage to get the shot off. Monsoon just about saving his bacon once again there. Mordekaiser had came down, but it just wasn't quite in the right timing. But that turret is desperately low, and I think they're just going to lifesteal the way back into that one. Mid turret has gone because Mordekaiser had come down to give a hand there, but I Will Dominate protecting any further push from Big Fat LP. But you can see Big Fat LP really won that middle lane out quite strongly.
Oh, yeah. And now you're seeing that the farm of that Alistar actually starting to pay its dividends. You can see almost a Trinity Force finished on Chowster, so tons of damage, of course, incoming very shortly. This Blitzcrank has got his gold pretends, has his armor boots as well, so he's actually pretty durable here. So I was actually wrong. I was actually predicting that Blitzcrank would get the gold, but no, it's going to be this Alistar instead, and he's going to get pretty scary pretty soon.
Yeah, and he's going to be to churn out that damage. Wow, another BF sword bought by IEM there. Trinity Force has been complete by Nidalee. Just spotted it. Needlessly large rod and blasting one for Mordekaiser. So Rabadon's Death Cap coming out shortly. So Locust protecting that tower. The difference is that bottom tower is definitely going to go down soon. They've had the dragon twice, which is why the gold, despite the fact that it is 5-3 in kills, is fairly even still between these two teams. It's just that there's two dragons, which means actually the farming-wise, it's not gone on too badly for CLG. Obviously, you can see in the middle, 207 to 202, very even now between these two. Urgot had got that big lead, but it's really hard to stop Mordekaiser once he starts getting fed.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Mord is a very scary guy. It's a very good job by CLG to have controlled that so far. And speaking of the dragon, by the way, from a little while ago, it's going to be up very, very soon. You can actually see the teams are going to start to group towards it. Excuse me. And you can see Warmogs has been finished on Urgot, and they are just kind of grouping up towards the middle right now. CLG looks like they're fully ready. Dignitas has to be a little bit afraid because, again, these pulls can happen from Urgot, they can happen from Alistar, they can happen from Blitzcrank, and Dignitas actually looks like they're going to move in towards the Dragon Pit. They are going to actually pull that at the very start, and they're going to move that towards themselves. Now, Mundo from St. Vicious, oh my gosh, Blitzcrank coming down. Will he go for the pull? Yes, lands it onto Mordekaiser. He's not going to be in good shape because of that. Let's see, he's going to actually, just looks like he's just going to flash and be safe, but they're going to move back in. There comes the damage output. Once again, this dragon just in the middle of it all. Urgot spamming out. Dignitas running back and forth. There we go. Dominate. Gonna jump into the front. He's gonna be in the middle of all that. There is all the ultimates. Looks like Mordekaiser the first kill onto Swain. And there it is. Yes, now the Urgot running back. Mundo towards the back as well. They're all just running away right now, CLG. Dignitas looks like they're gonna pick up another one. Scar with 2 kills in this fight so far. And now they have, looks like what looks like full control over this dragon. And they're gonna pop the shield. And there they go. They're gonna take this one over. And wow, that was an incredibly good fight for them. This 0-3 Mordekaiser said, well, but I have AP now, so I think we're going to be okay. And Hotshot did not like how that fight went for him.
No, he went down very, very quickly. And we were talking about who they were going to target. And, well, Hotshot just got popped in seconds. His ulti wasn't really able to pull him off. Obviously, wasn't in amongst the minions, so he was only trying to feed off the thing. In fact, I'm not even sure he had time to pop that ulti off. So the mid towers are taking a big chunk of damage. Bottom turret has gone down. You can see Nidalee clearing out that huge wave up top. Skara being very aggressive and maybe get caught out here. Chowster's going to catch his position out. Will get the pull fries, tries to headbutt him back towards it. Has got Urgot coming in. Can Urgot manage to get in and lock on time? He will get the lock on. And a slow from St. Vicious. Well, this could turn very well in their favor. Skara's trying to walk away from this one. Not too sure the lifesteal is going to be enough. He will go down, but Voivo picked up a kill, sneaking round that backside, popping down Alistar. So not without any repercussions. 6-6, all square, gold advantage. Obviously going to Dignitas. They have picked up those multiple kills in the last sort of fight, and 3 dragons ahead. Towers-wise, though, you've got to give it to CLG, 2-1 up.
Yep, they're doing a good job of pushing overall, and you can see that their late game is starting to scale pretty interestingly. There's a lot of different targets to look out for. Big Fat LP is going to get scarier and scarier. He's already finished his Warmogs, had that before the Dragon fight. You, of course, saw he did not die last time. He's just getting beefier and scarier. He's probably going to get Atmos for the next item there, and he's going to be just so incredibly hard to kill, and yet dealing tons and tons of damage. You got the Trinity Force finished already on this Nidalee, and she's getting scarier as well. You're going to see how she's going to scale off throughout this game. This Mordekaiser finally has his death cap, and that's going going to be all kinds of scary as well. He's got 330 ability power, and of course doing percentage health damage means that the two Warmogs builds here, both the Dr. Mundo and the Urgot, are not going to really like that. But you've got the Swain, who is the one like not stupidly tanky guy in this team, and he's starting to build a lot of magic resist. He's got 78 right now, and he's got that Rod of Age. He's got 2 Doran's Wings. He's got some good health, some good MR. He's going to keep building that up, and it's kind of going to be up to like Hotshot to survive. He's the only one who can actually get bursted right now by Dignitas.
Absolutely. So you can see that Mundo has actually just built up a Runion's Omen as well, which catching a glimpse of the top there. Look at this, the damage of Voyboy's managed to put out to Hotshot. They're not worried at all about the ulti anymore. So Voyboy definitely got the handling of Hotshot, so he's going to be careful. And you can see he's just plowing through those minions now. So top tower is going to be a little bit of pressure. You can see that Mundo is getting into position, just catching a glimpse of Blitzcrank. See where he's going there. Apologies for using the scroll. It's a little bit tricky on the mouse at the moment. So you can see that pretty much all the lanes continue to be pushed, and Voyboy doing his best to continue putting pressure on this top lane. They want to take out those 3 turrets, force them to start using more wards, and the ward placement at the moment hasn't been amazing. I'm trying to think of who actually died, whether we saw any oracles go down in there. I think Mundo went down, didn't he?
No, Mundo and Shyvana both had 0 deaths, and looks like actually some pressure coming on now. Doublelift gonna get the pull on a Scar, but Scar says, okay, we'll fight, I'm okay with this, and actually does okay with that. Of course, has that spell vamp, so his health will be coming back up soon. You can see CLG trying to defend this turret. Dignitas might not want to go for this. Oh no, Shyvana going in up in the front, and yes, gets pulled in by Blitzcrank, has to ult out and will survive, but the turret will go down, and here comes the rest of this fight. Fight's going on everywhere. Jana looks like she's going to jump in there and get a lot of pressure going on, and there we go. The ult comes off, the team trying to keep alive, but Hotshot chasing down into that one, and they're going to pick up the kill onto I Will Dominate. Dignitas still trying to run away. Now Corki not in a great place, and yes, another kill picked up there. Hotshot now picking up 2, and this kind of seems to be the story where the mage dies and picks up 2 kills, and then for CLG, the mage dies, picks up 2 kills, and that's what happens when you don't have your 5th member in a team fight. Voyboy's still waiting up there, and CLG are going to want this one.
Yeah, they're going to want it. Voyboy's going to spot it though, so he's going to realise it is happening, and he's trying to get that spear on towards Doublelift. Doublelift already very low. Have they got enough to force them to peel away from the Baron? I'm not sure whether they will. Mordekaiser's definitely going to try and throw himself, but they're grab on Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser pulled straight in, but that's actually gone badly wrong in CLG's favour. They're still tanking down the Baron while they're getting eaten up alive by Skara going around there. Skara will surely get away. No, I'm not too sure whether Alistair's going to be able to catch up on him and do enough damage. He turns around, tries to use the lifesteal on Jouster. Very nicely played there. Skara using that Will of the Ancients brilliantly. Voyboy will just about go down to Big Fat LP. Big Fat LP will back away from this one. Of course, we've got the ghost form of Doublelift in there, and Hotshot GG's going to get caught out. Skara continued to troll away and eat as much lifesteal as he can. He's got Mundo coming up behind him. Will finally get their kill, and what a crazy exchange. I Will Dominate back in there. Locust just needs to back away from that one. Many members of CLG very low on health, but they will back away from it just about in time. 10-8, and the gold still very even. 29 minutes into this one, just a 3k difference, and very close.
And that was a 3v5, like, gutsy, let's stop Baron, and that's actually really fortunate for a couple of reasons. So one is CLG doesn't have a full dedicated range DPS, right? You look at the Urgot build, and of course he's got some attack damage, but he's itemized, what, like 0 attack speed. He's getting his Atmos now. It's 30 minutes into the game, and he's got 200 AD and no real other complementary stats. You compare that to what I'm a Cutie Pie has, and he's got Black Cleaver, he's got another BF sword there, he's got, multiple hundreds of attack damage, bonus attack speed, etc. And he's a scarier guy than Urgot is. CLG's whole thing is like just to bruise through a fight and to fight a long-term battle, and that's not a bad lineup by any means. You see them winning in kills. This long-term fight goal is fine for them. But the problem is you've got a lot of crazy bursts out of kind of nowhere with basically Needly and Corki and this Mordekaiser just kind of show up in the front load onto someone really hard, and it's a little bit scary.
And Skara nearly completing the Zhonya's Hourglass as well. Are they oblivious to the fact that CLG just sneaking in? They could come up and around them. Whether they're thinking of Baron, the Clairvoyance hasn't got down. Surely going to grab a grab. No, they don't. The ulti coming out, and then Locust having to use the ulti to blast them away. Will it the Monsoon be enough? You can see that Big Fat LP was completely targeted in there. Chauster going down as well. This is going very well for Dignitas. They're going to pile on towards St. Vincent. St. Vincent having to use his ulti to blast away with Mundo, and that will surely mean that there's going to be a Baron attempt from Dignitas. There's no way they're going to give up on this one. I'm not too sure really whether St. Vicious can blast his way back
in there and try and get the steal on it. It's entirely possible. Of course, he got double lift, could always manage to throw a random grab out. Actually, Hotshot GG's been caught out though, and will get taken down. IMQ by taken very low. May well get taken down by the ulti from Blitzcrank. Not quite enough. And lifesteal is his way through that. Nearly heal as well. I think just topped him off in amongst there. And wow, St. Vicious now all on his own. Zephyr goes down on him. They're going to get the exhaust down. They're peeled off. They picked up the Baron, and that will be an ace. Eventually coming out from Dignitas, 13-10, 48k to 41k. That was the team fight Dignitas were looking for.
Wow, and they do not have the ability to deal with Mordekaiser. Now, I don't know if the Mord pick was a counter because they knew what strategy was coming up, but you see that, you know, they're getting these, like, giant pulls, right? They got that pull on Janna, and, like, Janna of all champions would be the one to instantly die in that kind of situation, and no matter who they pull, that champion doesn't get dropped. They don't have, like, a Veigar or, you know, I'm trying to think of, like, heavily bursty champions like Graves or Sivir, or even a support like Taric. I mean, think of like Blitzcrank and Alistar can burst pretty well themselves, but they don't have like a guy who could just like throw out a crap ton of damage all at once. You kind of feel like Needly would have almost been a better choice there with the takedown Trinity Force proc or just even a giant javelin or something, but they don't have the ability to pull a guy and then make that one actually drop. And you've seen this now 2-3 times in these fights. Before was when Dignitas went and stopped Baron, and now it was the one where they got the amazing Urgot swap. You know, they're getting a guy into the team, and then that guy is not dying. And you know, otherwise, they're actually just firing back, and Dignitas are doing a good job in those fights. And we just went from a 2-kill disadvantage to a 3-kill advantage plus Baron for Dignitas. And, I mean, they're playing phenomenally.
Yeah, and the big problem was they obviously pulled Janna in, Monsoed them all away, and meanwhile, Urgot had already done his switch and was just like, oh, I'm 4v1
alone now. Yeah,
what the hell? Completely got obliterated. So he was out of that fight from the very, very beginning. So Dignitas now all baroned up, pushed all the lanes, and I expect to see them piling straight up mid. So you can see the 5-man team gathering. Chowster needs to get himself back, which is exactly what he's doing. And they are ready and waiting for this one. I'm not too sure how much pushing power they're going to feel, though. I mean, it's a dangerous team to still push on the tower. I mean, it's all very well just winning out that team fight. They will go straight in there, and you can see the Howling Gale just wishing across, and they're just trying to buy time for Amikix to go away to hammer away on that tower, and some might even say chipping away. But I still don't feel that they're that confident to actually really push them on a tower fight yet.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary. CLG has a really good turret camping team. Every one of them has some kind of long-range skill shot poke, except for Alistar. And he at least has a heal to keep them alive. And so you can see they AoE down these minions. Urgot spams Qs and autos. And, you know, if they ever get too close, you've got the swap or the Blitzcrank pull into a turret. And unlike last time where, you know, Urgot swapped and they got caught out, at least this time the swap puts him into a turret, which is, you know, something that you won't blow away with the Janna ult and will do very significant damage here. So you got to figure CLG likes this position, but they don't like that they're losing, but they have a really good chance here in these fights to sort of make this go in their favor.
Yeah, so 568 ability power currently on Scurry. He's completed that Zhonya's Hourglass, so he's kind of putting himself up the front saying, you know what, grab me, here they go. And they've dived in there. I will dominate going straight across. And wow, the damage going straight across. CLG completely getting destroyed on the tower. I wasn't sure quite how much damage they had, but they have it in abundance. And they completely obliterated CLG away from that turret. I think Big Fat LP actually went for his ulti, got switched away, and suddenly was actually out the fight, the back end of it. The tower goes down very quickly, and Dignitas may well be able to push through and finish this one off in a plum. And what an amazing turnaround from Dignitas. They weren't quite sure about the start lineups, but they have just looked phenomenal. And the last two team fights is really turned in their favor.
Yep, absolutely. They've not been able to burn down the Dignitas lineup. They're actually tankier than you would give them credit for. Skara, despite building more or less full glass, has like a Zhonya's, gets his shield up, and he's just not been really dropped down. I mean, Chowster trying to defend this turret now, looking to run away. The turrets are about to fall, though. Now onto the Nexus, and looks like Dignitas going to take the very first game of the day, 1-0 in the group over Counter Logic Gaming, and they're going to be happy with how this is going for them so far.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a first game of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely glorious game by them. Excellent play.
So around about a 40-minute game, I think, in total. Yep. But wow, just a very happy Dignitas team. They said they were going to bring something special to this one. Was that it? Did we see it there? Did we see something crazy from CLG? It was definitely a different strategy, definitely a different meta, but was it enough? And, you know, it hasn't worked in the first game. Do they stick to it? Do they switch back? Do they go back to the normal? Have they been practicing this strat for ages? Are they so confident in it and they're going to feel a big confidence drain in them? You can see it's going to be a lot of discussions going on. So I mean, it's just the first game of the day in what will be a big group stage.
They've got a chance, and there's a couple of really fun things going on in this group. We're going to, of course, solve the